you, and hello you. Hope you all had a lovely weekend. I had a fantastic weekend, and in fact I was spotted on Saturday by somebody who regularly comments on the channel. Spooky. We'll get back to that one later. Anyway, let's just say that the 10-day limit on achieving some sort of breakthrough has ended from both sides. I was supposed to, at this point, according to lawyers allegedly hired by you-know-who, I was supposed to do an apology video, send 3,000 so 3,000 euros to an account because you-know-who, it obviously is fortunes have declined, and he won't be able to go on as many Thailand adventures with you-know-who as well. So obviously trying to get more money out of the Litigation 12 so he can crack on touring the earth on his tour, his grand tour. And also there was supposed to be the removal of all you-know-who's video content on my channel. I came back with what I thought was a wonderful proposition, where in fact he actually got hold of 3,000 euros and sent it to the people who are clearly close to his heart, because he did a special video about it, those who really need the money more than he does, and that's the people of the Ukraine. I also said if he did a video apologising to all the patrons on Patreon who had blown their money, who thought they gave him money in good faith, it was going to use it for activism, but instead, as we know, that he used it for Thai adventures. Needless to say, those 10 days have elapsed and there has been nothing. Now, many others of the Litigation 12 actually responded to the email directly to the email address given. As we know, somebody actually phoned them. Well, not only one person phoned them up, I know others phoned up too, and as far as I'm aware, nobody to date has received either an email response or a phone call back, which makes you wonder what is going on. The end of the day is, as well, you have to think that in the efforts to try and remove any social media footprint for the scandal, he's actually created more footprints. In fact, those footprints are not just in the XJW community, but as we all know, that there are some people who have YouTube channels and earn their living out of having followers listen to them as they express their views on trending subjects in social media. And somehow Lloydgate, hashtag Lloydgate, must have been trending somewhat for people who are not Jehovah's Witnesses, not former Jehovah's Witnesses, but people who just, I don't know, do the little YouTube stuff, and it piqued their interest. So we now have people who are not even connected to the Jehovah's Witnesses talking about something they don't really understand, but something they find scandalous. And so if you really are the minister for propaganda for you-know-who, you would have thought the suggestion might be, I tell you what, let's not continue any more litigation efforts because this is just going to blow up in our face. In fact, one of the other 12 sent me a message. I won't say who it was, but you can guess. Said it's a pound bet. Sorry, it's a zero bet. But apparently, if it's true, I'm supposed to do a video of me singing singing the song Criffle, which isn't going to happen because it was hard enough to put it down the first time. But I could do Truth Was Lies, an acoustic version. That is possible because that's quite easy to play and sing. Anyway, this person says they're expecting an announcement to come out something like this. Having commenced the legal process, I now realise that this is going to take my time from my important work. I've decided that my work is too important and I will no longer fight these defamatory statements, even though they are true. I would rather put my effort into fighting Watchtower than fighting these criminals. Okay, they're not criminals either, but anyway, that's a bet somebody has made with me, that maybe statements that may be coming out very soon from you-know-who or you-know-who's lawyers. And if that is the case, I'm to do a song. So anyway, we shall see what happens. I'm clearly hoping at the end of the day that the saintly you-know-who will actually call it a day. I wish he'd call it a day completely. Well, that ain't going to happen because clearly he's avoiding hard work like the plague, and those big red juicy tomatoes videos never caught on. And he will carry on doing what he's doing. But at the end of the day, if people still want to fund this guy, knowing that potentially their money is going to also be used for purposes that they never really thought of before, with you know what, that's up to them. At least there's transparency out there, and at least there's everybody knows what the script is. Well, hopefully they'll know what the script is, and so people can decide which way they want to go, whether they want to continue to fund this guy's lifestyle and he still enjoys content, or whether they want to just maybe have a look at other people's content. The interesting thing is that beforehand, when it used to be coming up to looking at you-know-who's videos, the next video that came up was always you-know-who. But now there's so many people doing these sort of activism videos, there is so many user accounts, it's absolutely incredible. So there's lots more to choose from if that's what you really want to do. I'll do a video about that another time actually, now's not the place. So going back to I was spotted. So basically, when I came back Saturday night, when I went to meet my son and bring back his belongings from the student accommodation he's been living in for several years. I got back and there was a little comment on, I think the last video I did, I think it was the last one, by some person who I now know is actually Scottish. Beforehand I never knew who they were, in fact I still don't know who they are, but I didn't know whereabouts in the world they were from, whether they were either an ex-Jehovah's Witness. As it is, I now found out they are an ex-Jehovah's Witness and they're actually Scottish. And they actually said on the thing, oh, I was listening to you today and I looked up and I saw you, and it's one of those really spooky moments to think that somebody was actually listening to me speaking, obviously through the phone and headphones, because as everybody knows, there's really no visual extras when you watch any of my videos. You can just actually just go about and clean dishes or do whatever you do, because you don't need to look at the screen, because there isn't anything really happening, to be honest with you. And he was listening to me, I think it's a he, I'll go for a he. He was listening to me, and next thing is he looked up and saw me. So I thought, knowing who this person was who commented, oh right, whatever, because I've had some to and froing on one of my earlier videos. I can't remember which one, but it's going back to one of the early you-know-who videos. And he then said, yes, I was walking up Sauchiehall Street and I saw you wearing denims with another guy wearing brown. And sure enough, on Saturday I was walking up Sauchiehall Street in Glasgow and my denim jacket was being sported that day, and my son was with me. I can't even mind what he was wearing, it might have been brown, I don't really know. And he was absolutely right. And it's one of those spooky moments whereupon somebody who's listening to me looked up and saw me, and he's probably never seen me ever or met me in my life before. Or maybe he does, I don't know, but obviously I don't know the person's name, so I can't tell whether I actually physically would even know them. But I never spotted them on Sauchiehall Street, let's put it that way. Now this particular person, bizarrely, I can't even mind what his username is, but it doesn't make any sense. a wee while ago started using my channel as a soundboard for trying to perpetuate his feelings or his conspiracy theory that this whole world is being run by, wait for it, witches. Yes, in a change from being the Jews and the Jewish bankers especially, and the Freemasons and God knows whoever else is supposed to be involved in this conspiracy, that apparently it's witches. And he then put down a load of different things to just show that witches were involved in the entertainment business and politics and you know what and how nowheres, and that it was just fundamentally is witches were controlling everything, which of course in my mind was complete and utter bollocks. So I did try to listen. I sort of read a lot of what he said, and it did go on a hell of a lot, to be honest with you. And sometimes he was just looking at people's names, sort of rearranging the names and saying, now if you rearrange the surname you end up with this and this connects this. He's going like A plus G equals Z, you know, that's sort of the train of thought there. And I then go back to him and says, it's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence, it happens all the time. He's going, oh no it isn't, blah blah blah, and then came something else, no it's a coincidence. And then I said, well hold on a second, if you get, for instance, God in reverse is dog, so does that mean that my dog Dougal is actually God? Well, they're both arseholes, so that's possible. And they're like, you know, and of course it's left to me to sweep up the shit that everybody else from all the mess that they make, so maybe that's possible. And also I said, well what about Santa? If you rearrange the word Santa you can get Satan. You know, I was just saying, look, it's just a coincidence. If you want to funny about with words or look, if you've got a certain narrative, you will find things to fit in, even though they don't fit in. You'll just do it, you'll accomplish it. And I'm just trying to say, no, it's just purely a coincidence. So, however, there you go. On Saturday, this guy is all about, you know, things being arranged by witches and spells and magic and how forth. All of a sudden this strange event occurs where he's listening to me and then sees me in Sauchiehall Street. Speak your what? But it's a coincidence. And this coincidence should then confirm to him, you know what, if that's a coincidence, maybe all the other things that I've been going on about are also coincidences. I'm hoping this is the case, because if it wasn't a coincidence and somehow, you know, that we were to meet in the, you know, the what time-space continuum or whatever it is, it would have meant that there were a lot of magical spells to make sure that we had this moment together. For instance, the only reason why I was walking up Sauchiehall Street with my son is because he decided to jack in his accommodation early and save a month's rent using the excuse that COVID, you know, of a change in the booking that says if you're afraid of getting COVID, you can pull out. So in other words, it was only because COVID exists that he was able to terminate his tenancy early. The only reason why I was walking up Sauchiehall Street is because I realised that Sauchiehall Street is now just most of it's pedestrian. All the parking bays in Sauchiehall Street are now gone. It's mostly pedestrianised. And because I was dying for a pint, one of those cheap dodgy curries in the Wetherspoons. And I just said to him, oh, tell you what, we'll leave your car here, we'll walk up Sauchiehall Street. So in other words, if there was some witchcraftery going on here, influencing things around us for us to all of a sudden have this, you know, brief moment in time, it would have meant that they would have had to, they've had to somehow a number of years ago, so somehow influence the Glasgow city builders to make it pedestrianised, create COVID, and to ensure that I like to have real ales, that's one of the benefits of Wetherspoons. They do the whole range of proper beers, including Brew Dog Pong IPA, which is what I had. If you took out all of those equations, you know, we wouldn't have been there. And I wouldn't have seen, he wouldn't have seen me while listening to me. It's all a coincidence. And I'm just hoping that this guy takes this on board and stops his nonsense, that it's really witches that are controlling everything through spells and magic or whatever, you know, and just say, actually, maybe all the things I've been saying is just a coincidence. If I can meet this guy, if I can see this guy while I'm listening to him on the street, you know, it is a coincidence. And it happens all the time. This morning it happened to me again. I got a Facebook a Facebook friend request. I looked at who the friends were, and I know that the 5 people who this other person is a friend of are not friends of each other. So somehow the only thing they have in common is that they're a Facebook friend of one person. And then me initially looking at that thinking, oh, they're all friends. They're not. I know they're not. It's just a coincidence. And my life is full of things that happen. I'm not going to go through them all because there's some absolute belt of coincidences which you go, whoa, that's spooky. But I'm sure all of us have experiences like this. And like I said before, if this guy, and I don't know his name because it's not his real name, let's say he's a male and he's into is witch hunting. Let's call him Jock McWitch-Hunter. So if Jock McWitch-Hunter wants to then go ahead and use my channel or anybody else's channel to spout this nonsense about his conspiracy theory that witches are controlling, you know, everything, why doesn't he just do his own channel? Or just change the name of his channel to Jock McWitch-Hunter and just put up a video explaining his views instead of other people having to wade through the, you know, all the type and go, oh, I'm bored. You know, give us some proof. Give us some, you know, real facts. And let's see from your face, you know, if you're convinced yourself, whether he convinces us. Maybe he will, I don't know. Maybe there's something in what he says, but it's only when you look at his face speaking that you think, actually, this lad may have a point. I don't think he's got a point because, you know, look at Trump. He was on our TV all the time, and I was just thinking, this is a complete idiot. So, Boris Johnson, another idiot, and I could go on with being all day. Vladimir Putin, an absolute bellend. But these are guys who go on the TV giving their opinion. You just shake your head thinking, how are these people getting, you know, airtime here? So anyway, to Jock McWitch-Hunter, you should really, personal message to you, just do a video instead of coming onto my channel, and maybe you can, then somehow other people will be drawn to your video channel, which will be entitled Jock McWitch-Hunter, and then you can all, you know, conspire together, you know, and just talk about all the different conspiracy theories in relating to witchcraft. And you may persuade others who are sort of on the edge. Maybe you'll convince them at all. You won't convince me, as I've already told you, it's not happening. But that's just a little bit of word of advice. You never know. Who would have thought? Anyway, I'm going to end on that point. I will be back, as we've been working today. I will not be back for a number of days now, so... So I'll go away because I'm going away to Manchester. I'm going away to Manchester to actually a concert to go and see Hans Zimmer. Hans Zimmer, who did the soundtrack for many famous films, but he's actually going to be there in person in Manchester. So I'm actually going to Manchester and spending a couple of days there to watch the wonderful Hans Zimmer. It's a shame that Lisa from The Dead Can Dance, I'm hoping she appears because she did the singing on the Gladiator soundtrack. Oh, I hope she's there, but you never know. One can know. But that's where I shall be, so I will not be back here for quite a wee while, to be honest with you. So anyway, there's plenty of other people to watch in the meantime, and if anything changes in relation to you know who and the litigation, I will then come back on that one. But in the interim, I've got other things that I want to talk about, which are nothing to do with him or to do with Jock McWitch-Hunter either. And I'll see you then. So have a great week. The weather in Scotland is absolutely fantastic at the moment. and more than that another time. So goodbye. So it's goodbye from me, it's goodbye from you. No, it's goodbye to you, it's goodbye to me, and it's goodbye to you. That makes sense, doesn't it? No. Okay, see you later, bye bye.